to our first ever panel. It's interesting, usually I think most of us have been on our fair share of panels. This is hopefully going to be unlike any that any of you have ever been on before, because really we're just here to talk about beauty. And Top Shelf, of course. How many of you guys raise your hand if you're familiar with Top Shelf? All right, cool, so pretty fair amount. So you guys have been top shelved. Top Shelf is all about exploring beauty through the lens of personal style. And ever since I founded Into the Gloss back in 2010, almost 5 years ago, September 10th, I've been inspired, and everyone's been inspired by exploring the routines of some of the most influential women in fields like fashion, beauty, art, politics, entertainment, and these are some of my favorite women. So I thought, what better thing to kick off the school year than to come together and talk to you guys about beauty. So welcome, everyone. I think we can just go across. I'd love to hear. This is the question I ask everyone when I sit down on the back of the floor and ask, top shelf questions. I say, okay, so let's start. Who are you? What do you do? Where are you from? Kate, let's start with you.
I'm Kate. Kate Young, I'm a stylist. I live in Brooklyn. What else do you want me to tell?
Maybe that's all from now.
I'm Elaine, and I'm the beauty director at Teen Vogue, and I drag all my friends to workouts pretty regularly. And I live in New York. I don't know what else.
You're also the queen of Snapchat.
The queen of Snapchat. Well, thank you. I've appointed that one right there to Snapchat the event.
Are you snapping right this very minute?
Right this minute.
Okay.
My name is Leandra Medine. I am the founder of a website called Man Repeller. It's a site about trends that women love and men hate. It's also kind of a microphone for women and a place where you can come and try a voice on for size and then take it with you or not. My social security number is 13474, and Emily is one of my favorite people on this earth after my mother and my husband.
Aww. Thanks, Leandra. Your brothers are not going to be happy.
They're okay.
So thanks for coming, guys. As you might know, my name is Emily Weiss. I'm the founder and CEO of Into the Gloss and now Glossier, which is a direct-to-consumer beauty company that was really born out of all the inspiring women who I've gotten to meet over the years, and all of the people who have commented and read Into the Gloss and shared their tips with us. And I'm so pleased you all came, so thank you very much. So I'd love to kick off and really, in the style of a Top Shelf, ask you guys some questions about your beauty routine. I think I'd like to start with Leandra.
Okay.
Leandra, you wrote a very interesting essay last year, I believe, that's called Why I Don't Wear Makeup.
Mm-hmm.
I think it got a really monumental response, and it's something that I definitely related to. So I wanted to hear a little bit from you about your attitude toward beauty and kind of how it's shifted over the years and where you're at now.
Well, the reason I wrote that essay is because one of the co-founders of a startup unrelated to fashion had accidentally CC'd me on an email after we'd met several nights earlier. And he told his assistant that he thought I was funny and smart, but super fucking ugly. He dropped an F-bomb and everything. So this was news to me because I find myself relatively decent looking. And I showed it to my husband, and at first I was laughing, and then I got kind of sad, and then I felt a little self-conscious, and then I was like, why am I, this is very out of character for me, and that's when I wrote the essay. And my, I suppose, beauty philosophy has always been just do what makes you feel great. For me, that has sort of been let the clothes do the talking. Your face is sort of secondary, not actually the case. But anyway, so during that phase of my life, I was testing out more makeup. Emily actually taught me how to apply red lipstick. And that sort of became a mainstay in my beauty routine. Sometimes I wear eyeliner. I've recently come to the understanding that I'm never gonna look like Alexa Chung. The cat eye doesn't actually work for me. And so I've stopped doing that. And lots of Glossier all the time. I love that skin tint. Give me some of that all day, every day.
And your husband actually buys his own priming moisturizer now because he doesn't want to share.
Yeah, he sure does. Can I share an
Did
anecdote?
Did I auto replenish for this? It's like, no, it's mine.
Can I share an anecdote about last Paris Fashion Week?
Yeah.
So Emily stayed with my husband and I for the first 2 nights that we were in Paris, and one night I was returning home from an evening that neither of them were participating in, and I get home and Abie opens the door wearing lots of cream on his face, and right behind him is Emily wearing an equal amount of cream on her face, and they were testing out new masks for Glossier. It was probably one of my favorite visions of all time.
And also, yeah, it's a great lesson for everyone that yes, you can be 30 and still sleep over with one of your best
Yes,
friends.
and her husband.
That's perfectly fine.
Yes.
In my book of life. All right, great. Well, thanks, Leandra. Elaine, you are helming the beauty division of one of, I would say actually and I'm biased because I used to work there, the most important magazine for women who are coming into their own, young women, right, who are bombarded with a lot of messages about beauty. And I'd love to hear a little bit about what, you think the beauty philosophy is at Teen Vogue. Does Teen Vogue have a position on beauty?
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's quite an introduction. Thank you. No, but so at Teen Vogue, essentially, our philosophy is celebrating personal style, right? So as an extension of that, beauty, in my eyes, is really more about self-expression than it is about products. And I've never really been someone who is excited about peddling products just for the sake of selling like hope in a jar, especially when it comes to a younger audience. Because I think, first of all, I think young women in general, we respond to what's authentic. We want what's real, and we can kind of smell BS. And I think that for me, what I get excited about is sharing authentic stories about women and how they feel about themselves and how beauty plays a role in that. And so, yeah, I think when you're a teenager and you're in your early 20s, you're still figuring yourself out. And so as a result, I think you're constantly on this quest of figuring out what you like. And so your style is always evolving. It's all about experimenting and having fun, and it's not so serious. So I think our philosophy is about having fun, experimenting, and using beauty as a way to express something about who you are, like who you want to be, what you want to say. Mm-hmm. So, not to get all deep on you guys, but I realize that at the end of the day, we are still writing about lipstick, but the way I sort of think about it is like, okay, you can show this perfect girl looking amazing and wearing this amazing lipstick and saying, hey, buy this lipstick. Or you can show a really intriguing girl who has something to say, who is wearing a gorgeous lipstick. And it's like, how does she wear that lipstick? Wait, how does she put it all together? It's something about that girl that you relate to. So I'm all about like showing girls, like I want girls to open the magazine up and be like, that's so me. Like I relate to her. I think it's about being real and being more authentic, but at the same time, figuring out a way to keep it aspirational in terms of like the imagery. Mm-hmm. So.
Great, thank you. Hi, Kate. So Kate has had a jam-packed 7 days. You just got back from LA. You're styling Selena Gomez.
No, I wasn't there.
Oh, she was Skyping, getting Selena Gomez ready for the VMAs. And Kate, I've had the pleasure of knowing for several years. She knows more about beauty products than maybe any. I think you're like an armchair beauty editor, really. Mm-hmm. And Kate, you're interesting because you have spent time on both sides of, I would say, the general, larger kind of Western beauty culture ideals. You've been in the fashion world, so you get kind of fashion girl cool, right? Mm-hmm. Beauty. And then you also now style everyone from, Natalie Portman to Selena Gomez. And so you also get them ready for the scrutiny, the mass scrutiny of kind of, the red carpet beauty thing. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious if you found, first of all, I'm curious about like what you're using lately, because you always turn me on to something new that you've been hearing about. But also I'd love to know sort of for you, how do you balance those two desires? Like how do you balance with those clients? You know them when they're getting ready and they're in sweatpants or probably very cool jeans if you're Sienna Miller. And then you work on transforming them or on, not transforming them, but getting them ready to be this kind of red carpet person. So do you ever find there's a conflict there, and how involved are they in kind of choosing those looks or,
I think,
getting dolled up.
Thank you. I think that with celebrities, the thing that is really important is their relationship with the makeup artist and the hairdresser. And I think if you look at a lot of actresses, like I'm taking on a couple of new clients, and when I do that, I look at every public appearance they've had before I have met them. And when you see when they first are going out, they don't have hair and makeup. Like they might be doing it themselves, and they kind of look terrible because real people are not what we're used to looking at on the red carpet. Like the lights are too intense, the carpet's too red, they look sweaty, and they need to get to the place where they get someone good who understands them, who can make them look just basically like how they look under that light and in that situation,
So it sort of is like theater makeup in a way.
It's like theater, really like theater. When I first started dressing celebrities, I remember the first time I got Hilary Swank ready for the Golden Globes, and the makeup artist said, "I'm done." And I looked at her and I was like, "Oh my God, she looks like a drag queen. Like, you have to take that off. Like, she can't." Her foundation was like this thick. I was like, "Does anybody else think this looks horrible?" And they were like, "No, she needs it. She needs it." And she looks like she doesn't have makeup on in the pictures. She looks like totally normal.
Wow.
And I learned to just shut up and let the skin go, because the people who are good at it know how to make the skin look good. And it's not good in real life a lot of the time. I think that's what shocks people. Have you ever seen a TV news reporter on the street and you're like, oh God, their faces, but they look normal on TV.
Right.
So there's that. But then I think one thing that I do regularly is do these hair and makeup inspiration boards where, I love something like the makeup from Dior, and it's extreme. It could be, a square of blue. And that could translate into just a blue line in real life. I want the makeup to have...
In real life, on the red carpet.
On the red carpet.
Okay.
But I want the makeup to have some sort of foundation and fashion. I think the makeup is important. It completes the look. A red lip versus a smoky eye changes the entire vibe of an outfit. And it's nice if it has some sort of tie back to fashion and some fashion integrity for me always. That's sort of a little bit normalized, a little bit more wearable, a little bit more flattering. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Yeah.
And I mean, something that reminds me of something that you told me, because Kate's contributed to content into the Gloss, several times. Once it was back behind the scenes with Natalie Portman and who was it? Natalie Portman and Michelle Williams before the Oscars, And we do a lot of top shelves, we do a lot of profiles. We love to be inspired by women when they're, doing their beauty routine. And so I thought, well, surely we can kind of shoot pictures and get of celebrities getting ready, of these girls getting ready to go out on the red carpet. And you told me something really interesting, which I'll never forget, because I was like, well, they're already there. What's one more camera? And you kind of explained to me, that's one of the most stressful times, in the same way that, we would think of how stressed you would be knowing you're going to stand there. You don't know how it's going to photograph when you're out there. There's a million things. So it's almost the worst time to
Walking to the car, to get into the car, to go to an award show is panic attack time. It's full on therapist.
You are to them.
Okay, let's breathe. Let's talk about things. Yeah.
And do you test the look in different lights? Are you doing selfies in the car to see how does that photograph?
No, I don't get in the car. But but if it's an LA award season thing, it's outside. So you have to go outside. So almost all the hotel rooms there have balconies, so you have to go outside and see what it looks like. It's really harsh afternoon light. I mean, in New York, we watch it in the evening. It's at 3 in the afternoon in LA. So it's full on sun.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So I do want to know what products are you most recently? Two of the products that Kate turned me on to, by the way, is this incredible foundation called...
Oh, Illuminare.
Thank you. I've never
so good.
Heard of it. So Mary Kate Olsen told you about it, right?
No. Miranda Kerr.
Okay.
And also told me what color I should buy from Amazon.com. Told me 2 colors, one for contouring.
Great.
She's like a closet makeup artist.
She also knows her light. She really knows.
She knows everything.
I told her that once, and she was like, "You're so weird."
She's like, I know everything.
Yeah, and any new products we should all know about?
I got for free from Net-a-Porter this thing called Wake Up Wonderful from Ren that I'm obsessed with.
What is it?
Cream you put on at night and it cleans out all your pores. So in the morning you wake up like...
Wonderful?
Yeah, it's really good.
All right. Elaine, you just got back from Beauty Wonderland.
I did.
Seoul, South Korea.
It was amazing. Yeah.
What are what were some of the big takeaways in terms of like the trends coming out of there that you feel like are going to be here soon?
Well, first of all, I was just blown away by the beauty culture there overall. Like the women are so incredibly obsessed with skincare like I've never seen. I mean, you've been. But they had like this 4-story building called Playhouse, I think, and it was like a dollhouse filled with just masks. And it was like masks of all types, like masks for your stomach, masks for your cellulite on your thighs, like pig nose masks, like panda masks, like the craziest masks I've ever seen, like bee venom masks, like the most mind-blowing place ever. So I felt like every single day I was like a kid in a candy store. But some of it's a little gimmicky, and I feel like what will actually translate in the States is this trend called rubber masking, which maybe some of you guys have heard about. I've seen a little bit of coverage on it, but essentially it's like this mask that comes in a little ramen noodle container. And half of it is powder, and you mix it with water and stir it up, and it turns into this sort of like rubbery paste. And you smear it on your face with a spatula, and you look like Hannibal Lecter. And I feel like everyone loves taking selfies with their masks on, so I feel like this is gonna really pick up. But you peel it all off in one fell swoop, and you just look glowier. You just look more radiant. So I feel like for me, that was what I was really excited about. And then they have these little serums that are called like 10-second serums, and they're meant to be used like within the 10 seconds after you wash your face and you put on serum. So apparently that's like this precious little window of time where you can trap in moisture if you use a certain essence. So I've taken them home, I'm trying them out. I can't really say yet like what I believe in fully and what I think is gimmicky, but it's working, right?
Glowy.
They sell you though.
She is.
I was telling them when we were back there, I went and got a facial, and this woman looked at my skin like with a huge magnifying glass. And she looked, and she was like, And I was like, and then she was like, yeah. And then she looks at the other woman, the translator, and says in Korean, very like stern. And the girl goes, she says that the effects of gravity had started to take effect. And she was like, maybe you should consider a little lift. And I was like, like they really make you think like something's wrong and like it needs to be fixed ASAP. So I'm like looking in the mirror like, oh my God, maybe she's right. No, but then you snap out of it and you're like, no, they're kind of crazy. And like the standards of perfection there are just like overwhelming. So they want perfect skin. A lot of the women there go to the facialist 3 times a week, sometimes 4. There's a family facialist, and it's not like rich people. Excuse me, it's not rich people. It's like everybody. Like all of us in here would have our own family facialist, and we'd see her like we're going to the grocery store like a couple times a week, like, hey girl, and she would just clean you up. But I have to say, as someone who doesn't really get facials that often, and I'm pretty jaded kind of about certain things, like I don't really believe in a lot, but I walked out of that facial and I looked plastic. Like I looked glowy. I had no work done, don't get me wrong. I didn't go for the lift, I didn't go for the filler, I didn't do any of that stuff, and I never have, but I just felt like a new person. So I don't know, I was kind of drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit, yeah.
So that will be the first but not the last visit you paid to Seoul, Korea.
Yeah, I will be back for sure. I only spent 3 days there, but I was running around like a crazy person the whole time doing everything. It was incredible. I highly recommend it for anybody who loves beauty. Like, you have to go to Seoul. It's the new like beauty capital of the world for sure, hands down.
It's true. I went for 4 days earlier this year with Alicia Yoon from Peach and Lily. You guys know about it? It's an e-commerce. It's great for site for Korean beauty products.
Yeah.
And I went with her just to be a fly on the wall. I literally emailed her after I saw her speak somewhere, and I was like, can I just come with you? Like, I just want to just come. I won't bother you. Just let me shadow you. And it was amazing. It was incredible.
I know, I saw your Instagram pictures, I was like, oh,
I asked a makeup artist to make me over as a K-pop star. Like, I got like the full, I was like, do whatever you do to them. Like, I want it. And no sir, just makeup.
Oh
Just
my
for a
God.
picture, just a moment. But I did feel like a young Korean singer for a moment.
And do you have photos?
On Instagram.
Okay.
The products coming out of there are really incredible. So what products, Leandra, what are you like super into right now? What are you about? What's on your face?
I like serums. I'm really into the skincare. It feels like much more of a personal and unilateral luxury. It's really for the individual as opposed to the public opinion, in my opinion. Drunk Elephant makes nice serums. I like those. I also like the name. Sometimes I feel like a drunk elephant. And Som Institute also has nice serums. I'm sure that Glossier will have some good ones as well. And I don't know why I buy into the anti-aging cream thing, but I do. And I really like putting those on my face.
How old are you?
26.
Why do you feel like why are you about that life?
Well, because one time I was at Le Pain Quotidien with my mom, and I was like, Mom, I got this. I was buying her a coffee. And the barista was like, so nice that you're treating your daughter. And I think she was joking, but maybe she wasn't joking. And I was like, she is literally 30 years my senior. I mean, I literally emerged from her womb. She's not my daughter. As a matter of fact, I'm her daughter. So that was really strange, and I was like, well, my mom uses anti-aging cream, so maybe that's why she's Benjamin Buttoning and I am not. So I started using it.
Has she passed down any rituals to you or any product knowledge to you?
No. So my mother grew up in Bat Yam in Israel. So like she was really big on the Nivea because that's all she could get. So she still uses it because it reminds her of home.
Okay.
But no, I've taught her most things.
And what about you guys in terms of like things you still have from growing up?
Ooh.
Tips. What did your mom
My
do?
mom's a tennis pro. She
Okay.
didn't wear anything.
Did she give you
she's
good
like-
deodorant tips?
No.
No.
No, she swears she uses sunscreen, and she's like a different culture from me when we stand next to each other. She's like 17 shades darker.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So you've learned everything on your own.
Yeah.
What do you believe? What do you think about? What's your philosophy on anti-aging? What's your kind of like stance on the anti-aging stuff?
I lost the battle. It's on. Like, I'm aging. I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out. I wish I had a better answer for you. I feel like I'm at a point, almost all my friends do stuff, like serious stuff now.
What does that mean?
And, like they have Botox, or they have, a lot of them have Ulcera. We were talking about backstage. I think that's like the future. Or like Fraxel. There's all these things that you can have done, and I'm like scared of all of them. And I also don't really like the effect of them. Like, I think people look different, and I can always tell something's different. And I don't want to look old, but I also don't want to look different. So I kind of would rather just look like an old version of myself than a different version. So my current take on it is that, like, I just want my skin to look good and not have dark spots, and if it's wrinkly, that's okay. So like I have laser to take off like dark sunspots, but like I don't do anything else. And I don't know whether that may change. Like, I don't know. It's one of those things when you're like, can you just wait? So I feel like there are a lot of women who are a little older than I am who are like, Yeah, I used to say that too. So I don't know. I mean, I'm really, really loyal to the facialist. I was like, 3 times a week. I wonder if Joanna could fit me in there. I see Joanna Vargas as often as humanly possible. I think that she has had a huge impact on like the clarity of my skin, but she also does facials that are anti-aging that like definitely work. So I never in my life was loyal to a facialist before, and now I'm like really loyal to her.
Wasn't there a point though in your life, I mean, you're fortunate, you're very successful at what you do. Was there a point when you just were like, I cannot go to the facialist except like that is a real treat? And
financially?
Yeah,
I never really had facials. I mean, I would have a facial like, I don't know, for my birthday or something, like my friends would buy me.
Right.
Yeah, I think I've only started getting facials really probably in the last like 6 years, and then really getting them like in the last 2 years.
Elaine, what about you? What do you think about, are there any products that you think are sort of like easing you into maturity?
Into gravity.
Or how do you
That's
feel
a
about that?
horrible word. Apparently, I'm losing that battle as well. No, you know what? Listen, it's mostly genetic. That's my belief, and I also think protecting your skin from the sun is the biggest thing you can do in terms of preventative steps.
So annoying.
It's so annoying, especially for a brown girl. It's annoying because until recently, all of them made you look like you were a Smurf or something. Like you just look like you have milky like paste on you, and it's just never cute. So now though, I just found this new one from L'Oreal Paris, which is actually super cheap, and it's completely clear. So it just makes it feel better. You know, when you put it on, you can put it everywhere and just forget about it. So that's good. But yeah, I think just recently I started getting into night creams or like night serums actually. So before, when I was younger, I would feel really proud of myself if I just like washed my face before bed. And then now I'm sort of like, I feel guilty if I go to bed with just washing my face and with just dry skin. I recognize that it's such an important time to take care or to apply something that helps with cell turnover. And so I don't know, it's just this beauty world. You know, you probably feel the same way. Like we hear so many theories from all of these scientists that work on beauty brands. So again, I've sipped the Kool-Aid as well on night creams, and I use Dr. Hauschka. They have a great night serum. Mm-hmm. It's light. It doesn't make me break out because I'm still like acne prone. It's crazy. I'm still getting acne. Probably a lot of you guys have experienced this too. It's so annoying, especially around your jawline, hormonal breakouts. So I find that using just clean, natural products is my preference, and Dr. Hauschka has been really good for me. So yeah.
Nice. How about so I'm curious about anything that you, in particular, I originally had this question for Kate, but I'm open to, please, like the more the merrier, 'cause I think it's interesting. Sometimes in interviews on top shelves I've done, I wind up hearing these like incredible anecdotes that you just don't forget about, you know, something that works or some weird trick, right? Like I remember an actress, I think it was this girl, Teresa Palmer on Into the Gloss, said that Julianne Moore told her, someone, that there's such a thing as sushi face. And I was like, what's sushi face? Like, I eat so much sushi. Like, is that a good thing? And it's like, if you eat sushi the next day, apparently you're very puffy and like, it makes you retain water. So before events, you're like not supposed to eat sushi.
Before events, no salt.
Oh, okay. So you can confirm this. It exists.
100%.
Sushi face.
No salt.
No salt.
I think it's sodium face.
Sodium face.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
soy
it's
sauce.
soy sauce.
Right, but it's funnier to say sushi face.
Yeah.
It's like more intriguing. Is there anything else that you guys have found works very well for you? And I know everyone is unique, but is there something like, do you need 10 hours at least of sleep? Or for example, water. I'm very curious about this. I personally hate drinking water because I hate having to pee all the time. So I purposefully dehydrate myself, despite the fact that everyone says it makes your skin better. I have yet to see a result from drinking so much water. Like I've tried, and I've been like, this isn't worth it. So is there anything that you... Same?
Going to the bathroom is such a waste of time when I'm like at work again. Avocados. I have noticed, I eat a lot of avocados, and I have noticed that my skin looks just more dewy. And when I don't have braids, it looks shinier. So that's something that I actually do believe in. I mean, there's science behind it, so.
Good fats.
Good fats.
Okay.
Make it fatty acid.
All right.
I don't know. I mean, I think there are a lot of things that make you look better, but they're mainly don'ts.
Don'ts?
Yeah, don't drink the night before, because then you look like...
Yeah.
Drawn?
No, it dehydrates you drinking. So like you can see it dehydrates and puffs at the same time. It puffs the body, dehydrates the face.
Sometimes I feel like I look better when I'm like a little hungover.
Probably not in a picture. That's your aesthetic.
Got
you
it.
like that,
Cool,
like.
Except I'm
I
in bed
look
by
like I was
9:30
somebody
after
cool,
dinner.
somewhere cool, but like not like.
Got it. On the up and up. Like ready for the red carpet.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other, Leandra, do you do anything, do you have any like gel patches in your fridge, or like what do you have going on that you?
Sometimes when I'm trying to look extra oily, I eat fried food.
That'll do it.
I heard that's a myth.
It is not.
You don't eat fried food. You're like
I
vegan,
don't.
gluten-free,
I
paleo.
do think that my skin has gotten considerably better since I started eating healthy.
The end.
But do you remember like 2 seasons ago, this fashion week, so spring, now in September, I was giving you a ride and you were like, whoa, your face looks different. And I was like, I've only been eating raw food this summer. So I think that impacted my skin in an interesting way. It did ridiculous things to my body in a not so good way. If any of you guys know anything about getting your period back, that would be tremendously helpful for me.
Maybe avocado, you know?
So I've been having a lot of avocado and I drink a ton of water and I have to go to the bathroom frequently, but I like that it breaks up my day.
Okay.
Well, sitting is bad for you. You're supposed to get up and walk because sitting is like
And I
the new
think that the water
smoking.
is helping my skin. I do.
All right. Well, I'm only on like day 10 of this water challenge that this editor-in-chief of Self told me to do. She's like, just try it for 2 weeks. Just drink some goddamn water. I was
How
like,
much?
"All
That's cool.
I don't know, a lot, like a big, she told me to get the big one, like this big, the liter, and just drink it. That's how much. Seems like a lot. I don't know. It's
Your skin looks
inconvenient.
great.
Thanks. Well, it's a lot of makeup today. So let's see. Do you guys go daily? What's the minimum number of products you think you use before you leave the house to feel like an upstanding citizen of the world?
On a work day or a life day?
Well, what is a work day and what's a life day? And why would you choose different
I don't wear
products?
makeup in
You
my
don't wear
real
makeup?
life.
None.
No.
Anything tinted? Any like tinted?
Oh, I use tinted sunscreen, but I think I'm gonna stop
Why?
because it makes the inside of my shirt brown.
Oh. And why no makeup?
I don't feel like it.
That's it.
I think I look fine with no makeup, but I think that there's like, I don't know, you worked at Vogue. Isn't there a thing that like you put makeup on because that makes you look professional? Like when I went to Vogue, you wear high heels, you put makeup on, and you brush your hair. And like, that's work to me.
This is like that scene in Stepmom, you know, when Susan Sarandon is like, only working women wear that shade of lipstick before 5
No, but
p.m.
I got the job at Vogue. It is, but I got the job at Vogue. I didn't know how to do makeup. My mom didn't wear makeup. I went to Barney's to the Shiramura counter, and they like did my makeup, and then I bought everything. I told them I wanted to look like Carolyn Bessette Kennedy, and I bought all the makeup. Then I went to Brad John's and I got my hair done so I could look like Carolyn Bessette Kennedy. And then I like wore that makeup to work every day for like, I don't know, 3 years.
And now but you do have statement hair. I will say that statement hair, I had a short stint as a platinum blonde.
Yeah.
And I will say that statement hair is a lot like wearing a statement lip or like an it bag. Like it is the focal point. Like it
Yeah.
is the main statement. Do you feel like that?
Yeah, I mean, I've had it for 15 years now. Yeah. So I'm used to it. But yeah, I mean, it's something. And this hair makes you look tan all the time. So it helps. You know, like, I think before I had this hair, I would look really pale and sallow sometimes. And this is a little like, it makes me look tan. So I feel better.
And what's the key? Make no mistakes, platinum hair is one of the hardest journeys I've ever gone on. It was a beautiful journey, and it was like a roller coaster, love fest, but it is really fucking hard to maintain platinum hair, right?
I mean, yeah, it's same. I mean, I've had it for 15 years.
I should do it. She was like, totally. And then
Yeah, but you didn't follow my regime.
I didn't follow it. I was bad.
I mean, it doesn't deviate. It's the same all the time. The problem is that I get scent-free stuff and I try it and then it starts breaking and looking horrible and then I have to go back to
It's delicate.
Yeah.
Wait,
But
so
it's
what's your
always the
regimen?
same.
What do you do?
I wash with Shimmer Lights, which is like this old lady shampoo for white hair. And then condition with Kerastase, and then use this like Elixir Ultime from Kerastase, and I don't dry it. Like, I don't dry it, ever. That's it.
Well, you're just lucky because your hair just dries like that.
Well, I have these French hairpins that
You have a whole thing. Like, she needs a tutorial.
That's what I was like, here's the regime.
Yeah.
And she didn't follow it. Her hair's breaking off everywhere. She's like trying to tell me to use Christophe Robin. I was like, no, that's natural. Natural is not your friend. Your hair is no longer natural. Like, if you have natural hair, that's great.
Right. All right. Well,
But this is like not human.
it's true. It's turned into something else.
Yeah.
Elaine, I've been following your hair journey on Snapchat, and you also mentioned that you have a very particular hair journey. It's very personal and close to your heart. What is your hair journey?
Well, it's been an emotional roller coaster with me and my hair. I think, growing up, I was the only one that had curly hair, and all my friends had really straight hair, blonde hair, and so I wanted my hair to be straight so badly that I would iron it with an iron, like on an ironing board. Can you
My
imagine
mom
how
used to do
awkward
that to
that
me.
is? Really?
Bat Yam.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's like Bat Yam is like the ghetto of Israel. So that's what she did because they didn't have blow dryers over there.
Yeah.
Nivean ironing boards. That's all they had.
Wow.
Now, well, I guess I was in the ghetto of Northern California ironing my hair, but one time I forgot that, or I didn't forget I was ironing my hair, but I was telling a story and I started laughing. And I left a little piece on, and legit, the hair is still laying on the ironing board, and I sat up and I was like, oh my God. And I had like heat, like steam coming off of my hair. It was so traumatic. I was like, I should probably stop this. Didn't. So then I eventually had like these straight pieces that were permanently straight. So after washing my hair, it wouldn't go back curly after a while. So certain, like under here, it would be like bone straight and then super curly in front. And I got to a point where I was just like, why am I doing this? Also, when it was curly, I didn't know how to manage it, so I always had a ton of gel in there, so it was super rock hard, and I wouldn't let anyone touch it. I was the girl at school who was like, don't touch my hair. Don't touch my hair, it's gonna get poofy. Don't touch my hair, it's gonna get poofy. Like, it was such a thing for me. And then I got to college and I realized that that my hair, it lost its oomph. Like, I missed the big fullness of it, and I started to appreciate it more, and I was like, I'm not gonna straighten my hair anymore. I let it come back to life, and ever since then I've just been like, you know what, the bigger the better. I embrace the frizz, I let it do its thing, it has its own mood, and I think that was like a turning point for me big time. It was just like, let it live, just, and then eventually when I started working at Teen Vogue, I feel like I reverted into it was like the teenage phase I never had of experimenting and feeling good about it and just being like, I'll try that, I'll cut my hair off, I'll dye my hair blonde, which PS, I dyed my hair like that color blonde.
Amazing.
It was sort of this like, it was painful a little because my hair was like falling out and it was really dry, but I think it was me sort of like saying, okay, I'm gonna ruin my hair, do everything I can possibly do it so that I break that connection that I have with it, and then I can cut it off, right?
That's what I did.
Did you do that too?
Yeah, I hit rock bottom. I tried on like so many different personas and kind of like and then finally it was like, this can go, I literally cannot have a worse haircut than the one I have right now, and therefore I need to cut it all off
Just
and get extensions until this all grows out. And now I'm like, it's just brown, it's gonna be like, a bob, or like then it's just gonna get long and it's just gonna be my hair for a while. Like I'm
But
gonna
it's
switch.
cute, your hair is
Thanks. I mean, it's better than it was. It was not good. But yeah, you kind of have to. It's weird how you sort of have to go through this, like, and I don't know, Leandra, did you ever do that with your hair? Like, was that one of an object of like constant sort of like, I don't know, it's always this angst, right? It's always like, I need to change.
Yeah.
And like, so I'll change this.
Totally.
My circumstance is very similar to yours, where my hair is very curly, and I always felt very self-conscious about it. And my policy has for a very long time been just do what makes you feel good, right? I don't wear makeup because I feel okay when I'm not wearing makeup. I straighten my hair because I feel like a better version of myself when my hair is straight. And though my mother was all like, while she's ironing my hair on the ironing board, telling me that my curls are beautiful, her hair was curly and she always wore it straight. So it's like your older brother telling you not to smoke with a cigarette between his fingers. You know what I mean? So I am still like on a journey. I'm still not comfortable leaving home when my hair does not look like this, but I'm trying to get there. But I'm also like very self-aware of the journey and wondering to myself why I'm trying so hard to get there. Like, if I'm comfortable and if I don't feel like I've had any qualms with my head, is that because I'm like emotionally in the stage of a chemical peel where all this stuff is bubbling to the surface? Or do I not even realize, like, have I not even realized that I needed a chemical peel? You know what I mean? I have to go.
No, I thought that was rhetorical, and I thought you were going to keep going. I was giving you the moment.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm just my hair, not sure if the stuff is bubbling to the surface yet, if I haven't realized that I need a chemical peel when I do, or if I'm going to come out with curls on the other end.
All right.
I'm not sure.
Good luck to you. All right, I think we're going to take some questions from the audience. And before we take questions from you guys, there's actually some questions that were submitted, which our fantastic editors looked through, and I picked some specifically for some of you guys. So thank you for anyone, especially in this room, who submitted questions. So let's see. Leandra, I have like well, it's not like, I have a ooh, somebody just opened champagne.
Pop champagne.
Get this started.
We're gonna pop champagne.
I was too afraid to drink it because I didn't want to pee, and she already had to pee, so we didn't bring
I
that
have to pee
here.
really bad.
I wouldn't let her. So, Leandra, a work-related question for all you entrepreneurs out there and hardworking women. How do you keep calm when others around you are stressed at work? How do you keep workspace morale up?
That's an interesting question. I think that I'm in a unique position because so much of the office's environment is contingent on my mood because they're looking to me for the leadership, right? And so
How many people work with you now?
9.
Wow.
So all of the personal stuff absolutely stays at home. There is no choice but a good mood when you're at work. Stressful things are always going to come up, but I think that as long as you can maintain this feeling of it's all going to be okay, because ultimately and fundamentally it will, like when in your life has it not been okay, but really think about that, like even in the wake of tragedy, things always turn out okay. So the people who are working with you, around you, for you, above you, are going to feel that zen, and it's going to change the circumstance for them. I think Fashion Week is probably a particularly hectic time at Man Repeller because our edit team is so small, and so we're running around between shows and stuff. But number one, don't underestimate the power of a smile, and number two, give compliments all the time. So much more valuable, so much more to learn from compliments than from criticism.
Nice. Do you guys have anything to add on to that?
I think working with people that you really like and that you would actually hang out with outside of work, for me at Teen Vogue has been amazing. Because as a New York woman, I think so much of our time is spent at the office, and to be able to feel safe and to be able to feel like, or to create a safe environment for other people is so important, because it's essentially your extended family, So I've gotten very close with the people I've worked with at Teen Vogue, and pretty much everywhere I've worked since I've moved to New York. So I think, I don't participate in like talking about people behind their back, and like, I just don't think it's productive. And I think the minute that you engage that person, momentarily will feel this connection with you, but they'll walk away wondering, I wonder if she'd say that about me. I wonder if she's now untrustworthy. I don't know where I stand with her, and I hate that feeling. I really believe in just being authentic, and like if I have something that I need to say to someone that maybe isn't so pleasant or that maybe isn't super positive, I'd rather talk to them directly about it than talk to a million other people. And it's just so much more healthy that way, I think, in a work environment, especially with lots of women. So yeah, that's been my experience. Yeah.
I don't have a big office. I don't have lots of people, so I think it's a little bit different. Like,
Yeah.
Beverly works and she runs the show. There's Beverly, and then Marielle, and then
They really want
there's
us to,
Christian in LA, and then that's kind of it. I work with the same tailors and hair and makeup and have the same clients, so it's kind of it's super traumatic for me when people leave. I'm like really close with all the interns who leave. And
actually, I have a sort of follow-on question to that, which is I have a lot of respect for the relationships that you have cultivated over like many, many years. You work with a lot of the same people. Your reputation is like sterling, you know, in the industry. What do you attribute to like that?
Good manners. Honestly, good manners. I'm not mean to people. I mean, I worked for Tawny Goodman, and everybody likes Tawny Goodman. Like, you will not find a person who doesn't love her. And she says hello to everyone on a set. She thanks everyone on a set. She writes thank you notes when she gets a present. You know, it's just gracious, good manners. She would never, you know, she was demanding, like there were things that needed to be done, but she would never like belittle someone to get them done. She was respectful of everyone, you know, is working hard. And you might all be in different stages of your life. Like when you're an assistant, you're not living the same life as the editor-in-chief who shows up in a car and a fur coat that costs more than you made that year. But it doesn't mean that you're not working as hard, you know, and there was a certain degree, like I felt that from Tawny, that she respected that what I was doing was just as hard as what she was doing. And, you know, they were of different, varying importance. I was replaceable and she isn't, you know, at the time. But I think that's something, you know, like that's why I love all my old interns. You know, there are like 5 of them who I still count as some of my closest, you know, extended group of friends. And I respect their opinion. I don't have a lot of people working with me because I don't want to be around people I don't like. I mean, I think that's hard on my team because I'm like, who's that intern? Bad vibes, get them out. You know, like, no. Like, you have to be nice, you have to, you know, have a nice energy about you, you have to have good style, obviously. But, you know, I don't have a lot of time for people who I don't immediately have a feeling that they have the right vibe. And once I like you, I kind of like you forever. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah, that's a good answer. Thank you. Let's see, next question. So I guess we actually answered both of these questions because we touched a little bit about on anti-aging. Someone asked about, you know, how we feel about, you know, treatments, fillers, things like that. Someone else asked about what sort of global beauty and skincare trends are you most excited to see stateside. Elaine, I was really excited to hear about, you know, South Korea. One more question that I think we can probably all have something to say about is, this is from @InAlphabetCity. Both Man Repeller and Glossier encourage girls to do you in a refreshingly unique and supportive way that allows for a community of sharing and info sharing. Are there point of views that you think your platforms help bring to the mainstream that traditional magazines/brands fail to do? So I thought, I mean, this is something we think a lot about at our company, and it sounds like, you know, with your philosophy with Teen Vogue, you kind of share a similar sentiment. I personally think, and a lot of us believe at Glossier, that we're at this moment in our culture, in our society in America, where, you know, traditionally with beauty and with most things, actually, I think it's been proven that sex sells, right? Like it's very proven that glamour sells, sex sells, to be, you know, you look at the main trends on Instagram right now for beauty and it's like very Anastasia Beverly Hills, very contoured, very about like the tapered brow, you know, very much about the Kardashians. It's like, that is, you know, the ultimate end of one spectrum, you know, with regard to like the beauty ideal right now, like in our culture. And I think what we're doing at Glossier is interesting, and I really do think we are a startup in many ways and an underdog in many ways, because we believe that we're at a time where people are striving to be more authentic to themselves. And that might mean that you're authentic because you do love a tapered brow and you really love contouring and that might be your vibe, you know, and I think that that's well and good. I also just think people in general are, again, kind of coming more out into the open and being proud of like who they are and proud of their choices, or kind of proud of like wherever they're at, and that if Glossier succeeds, it actually means that there's been a bigger success, which is in this pendulum swing, sort of where a niche brand that represents kind of bareness and kind of like expression and sort of like no makeup, the other end of the pendulum, if that actually gains critical mass, then that is bigger than just like the product. That's actually like saying something about like what women want to look like today. And so that would be my kind of thoughts on that topic.
Yeah, I feel very similarly with Man Repeller, and I think that when I launched, specifically when I launched, because I really launched my site to beef up my resume when I was applying for a job at New York Magazine. It was an imaginary role of full-time profile writer. Those do not exist. But I launched the site because I felt like there were so many very smart writers around me, and if I wanted anyone to even consider my resume, I needed something a little bit more dimensional to show with my credentials. And I said to myself when I started that the likelihood that the site would be able to gain traction or earn credibility and a reputation in the sort of way that I wanted to be taken seriously was unlikely due to the subject matter on the site and the position I was holding. But it's been very humbling to see the site earn the reputation that it has and pick up the traction and sort of gain the following and the caliber of following, because the men and women who follow the site are so incredibly intelligent and really do reflect the popular opinion. And so that has been a much larger cultural note on the shifting paradigm and the way in which we are being, number one, positioned to think, and number two, treated as consumers. I think that now more than ever, the public opinion actually matters, is actually moving the needle. Like, these are the wheels that are in motion. You know, that's when people talk about user generation, this is exactly it, right? I mean, Alexander Wang is launching a 10-piece capsule collection on Monday of 10 archived garments over the last 10 years. And those were selected on social media by his fans, which I think is such a fantastic and interesting testament to the way that this industry is changing and the opinions in the industry. So I don't know if that answers the question. I don't know if it just echoes what you were saying. But
Elaine, what do you think?
Well, I can say I think that websites, certainly like Into the Gloss and Man Repeller, have made it so mainstream publications or print magazines have realized it's time to throw the formula out the window and to rethink our approach to everything. Because real people have resonated so deeply with these huge communities at a time when circulation for print magazines has steadily decreased. It's very clear that part of the problem is a lack of authenticity, a lack of personal connection. And so for me, I felt really empowered by that shift, because it's an opportunity for editors to have bigger voices and for us to be able to bring out of the box ideas to the table, and for them to be, at least in general, I think there's, I'm met with greater receptions, like, let's try it, let's try it. There's an open-mindedness, I think, that I've realized has become the trend now versus when I started, even just within the last 5 years. It's changed, the industry has changed so radically that it makes my job super interesting to stay ahead of the curve, and to, like, how can I continue to push us forward as a brand so that we are not only keeping in step, but like doing things that just stand out, that are different from what every other magazine is doing. And I think we're uniquely positioned to do that because we speak to such a young audience. So I don't know, to be honest with you, I couldn't see myself, there aren't many big media companies or big media brands that I could see myself at, because the way we work at Teen Vogue is so entrepreneurial, and it's such a small team, and everyone's ideas are heard, and what you produce is so, there's an ownership that you don't really see other places, that you can sort of carry out a vision from beginning to end, and then you stand by it's like art, you know, you stand behind what you put out there. So it's like, if I get, whatever comes with this is mine, and I feel good about that. So, and I think people who read, hopefully, who read Teen Vogue can feel that and feel the difference and say, like, I have a sense of who this person is. I have a sense, and not just, I'm not talking about myself or an editor per se. It's like the subject, you know. I think telling stories that are super authentic, that like touch on this human experience and this human element. To me, that's the magic, you know. So, and it's something that I really didn't feel necessarily. I didn't really see that a lot growing up when I looked at magazines. I didn't really see myself reflected. I didn't. You know, it's nice to be inspired. It's, of course, it's, you know, there's like, you know, the chick on this, you know, in the Serengeti, like laying on a giraffe or something, and like that's awesome. But, you know, I think you need to balance that out with some real voices, which is why I appreciate your writing so much, because I think that Man Republic does that so well. Like, you laugh out loud when you're reading Leandra's writing because it's so real. It's like, that's just you, that's who you are hilarious, and you don't censor yourself. And I think there's a need for more of that in mainstream magazines, and I think I would like to say that I think Teen Vogue is doing that more and more. So.
And I think what's interesting in hearing everything that you said and everything, you know, Leandra, that you said, that I think if I could boil it down to like one major sentiment, it's really about forming an opinion, period.
Yeah,
right?
Standing behind it.
Yeah, like forming an opinion, being proud. I'm saying just, that's the sentiment that I think like resonates with people. Like, it's not a one-size-fits-all time. It's like a highly personal time where you can you can choose. And there's tons of choice for you can get lipstick anywhere. You can get your red lipstick, you know, of course, it's, you know, you get moisture like anywhere. But it's like, does that red lipstick care about who, I don't know, do you believe what that, you know, place believes in? Like, who are these people who's giving me this information?
Right.
You know, and am I forming my own point of view?
Right.
Because they are, you know? And I think we're in a time when people are really empowered to form their own point of view, you know, about every facet of their life, beauty or otherwise.
Totally.
And there's acceptance of a multitude of points of view, which, you know, there hasn't been in the past.
Well, and then also, if you're in a leadership position, it's very important to realize that once you come to the determination that authenticity is what's important, you can't build a formula on it, right? Authenticity is never going to be formulaic. It just doesn't work. It's very counterintuitive. And so there's a little bit more freeballing in that way, which is great.
Well, the thing that you call freeballing, what's interesting about that is really that, to me, it's about something being alive. So to me, like, very much, it's like Into the Gloss has been this journey that, like, we're still on. Like, it's year 5 of this, and now it's birthed this new thing, and now this thing is, you know, sort of Into the Gloss is tucking into it, and then God knows where we'll be in like 3 years. You know, Instagram didn't exist 3 years ago, and now it's like, you know, our lives.
Yeah, see, and this is also sort of my perception on wrinkles. I think that Joan Didion has aged really, really well. Like, she looks beautiful, she's wrinkly, that's like the wear of life, and it's beautiful to see it on someone. My understanding about women who get facelifts, and I'm like my grandmother, for example,
she's gonna kill you.
No, she's so open about it. And I have come from somewhere, you know what I mean? My understanding specifically with her is that she's on this like constant quest to prove that she was and still is beautiful. Like, she wants to be this photo book that still exists, that still tells the story of who she was when she was in her 20s and 30s and 40s. And with the introduction of social media and this sort of mass consumption of essentially the photo albums of our lives, I think there's a little bit more room to be real, because you have that behind you. If that's what the pursuit of eliminating the wares of life are, is to feel the acceptance of, I'm still youthful even if I have to try this hard, then at least now you have these photo albums to be like, well, this is who I am now, but this is who I was, and that's cool, so you're welcome. And I didn't write a Pulitzer Prize winning book, but I do like slouching, and Bethlehem is a cool bread brand.